Welcome to the LPAC. I'm Herlinda Chico, the founder of the Long Beach Latino Democratic Club, and we're continuing our series of conversations about the June primary election. Today we're getting to know the candidates that our club endorsed, and we're starting with Councilwoman Mary Zendejas, the very first Latina who uses a wheelchair to be elected to public office in the United States. She continues to be a very active member on several boards, including the Disabled Resource Centers board. So welcome, Councilwoman Mary Zendejas.
Thank you so much, Ms. Arlinda, for having me here today. And I think it's very important to have a Latino Democratic Club here in the city of Long Beach.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your support that you've given us. And for those of you who have not been to a Long Beach Latino Democratic Club, everyone is welcome, so please join us. But we want people, particularly those who aren't engaged and don't normally pay attention to the candidates or election. We're really trying to get people involved. We want to give them a reason to vote, particularly in local elections. We often find that people will wait every 4 years for the presidential election in November and skip the elections before. You're running for re-election in Council District 1. Can you tell us a little bit about the great strengths of District 1, some of the landmarks and the residents in District 1?
Yes, well, District 1 is a vibrant district, and it's also the heart of the city. I say it as whatever happens in the first district in our downtown area positively impacts the rest of the city. And so I'm very happy and honored to represent that district.
You were just in office as a brand new council member, never have served in an office before, and you're thrown into a city that's shut down. The government has to figure out a different way to work. So what you thought you were going into is no longer. And then during that process, the boundaries of your district also completely change. That is a lot for one new council member to take on. You've been able to address a lot of these challenges, though.
Yes, actually, when I was sworn in, it was December 3rd, 2019. So it wasn't like I was the beginning of 2019. It was right before COVID. I was putting my team together, and then we shut down completely. And we went through some very difficult challenges during that time. But one of the things that I possess with me is the ability to adapt. And so that really tested my ability to adapt and move forward and be able to be part of this emergency that we were going through, of something that nobody had ever seen before. And we were able to address the challenges through different eyes. I was able to advocate for those that were the most vulnerable,
right?
Like people with disabilities, seniors, and older Latinos, individuals who did not have access to iPhones or technology online. So it was a challenging time, but we were able to navigate through those challenges and be able to provide service equally and equitably.
Wow. And, having worked for the county during COVID for Supervisor Hahn, I agree with you. There were so many people that were falling through the cracks. Many of them were people who were differently abled, didn't have the same accessibility, and having a champion like you with lived experience, understanding what the obstacles and barriers can be, I'm sure was incredibly helpful to uplift and provide the resources for those residents.
If I could share a quick story with you.
I'd love that, please.
I have a friend who is paralyzed from the neck down. She's been my friend, but she's also my resident here in District 1. And we shared a care attendant. And one day my care attendant came and said, Cindy's really, really scared about COVID. Like, she's asking me to wear gloves anywhere I go, even if I'm outside of her house. And I said, yes. She's like, no, she's really scared. And I said, yes, because if COVID gets to her, just like me, any person with vulnerability, with less ability to fight COVID was even bigger at risk. Right. And so that was one of the reasons that I advocated for mobile vaccines to people with disabilities. And I will always remember the call from Cindy saying, thank you for advocating for us. I didn't have to go out. Someone came to my house from the health department to give me my vaccines and do tests for me. And so that to me is really important of the work that nobody else on the council could understand what Cindy was going through and what she needed at that point. In addition, we had to work with the transportation services to come and bring people to the vaccine area where we were, and also provide them with a round trip, because that's something that the transportation agency was not being able to do. But because of my advocacy, I was able to provide that for seniors, where seniors didn't have to get off and wait for another ride to come pick them up. They came right through just like anybody else, and were able to get their vaccines at the time too. And I have millions of stories like that as well.
And that's why representation is so important,
Yes.
right? We all have these different lived experiences to bring to the table, and we're thankful that you were in that position at that time to advocate for our most vulnerable. How is the campaign going?
Oh, the campaign is going. One of the things that I want to share with you is that it's not easy campaigning, period.
Right.
That's why I'm so dedicated to doing the work, going out there and talking to voters and making sure that they see all the accomplishments that I have done in the district and in the city as a whole. But it's not easy. Every weekend that I come out there to canvass and knock door to door, I face an obstacle that no other candidate in this race can relate to, because I cannot get to the front door of my residence.
That's an important point.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you about that. I wanted to ask your perspective, and I think that's important to share with people, your perspective as a person in a wheelchair, canvassing and trying to reach voters door to door. Talk to us about those barriers. I have been canvassing for a while now, as the election is on June 2nd. And till this day, I have not come to a building yet that is wheelchair friendly, wheelchair accessible, that I could just come up to their front door and let them know that I'm running and share my message, that I'm running for re-election, because of those barriers. Yes, there are buildings where they are wheelchair accessible, but they're also secured and behind gates. So if it's not that, it's the inaccessibility to being able to access my voters. And you want to make your residents and voters feel comfortable. I have to really, really try to get them out of their comfort zone, out of their home, to come downstairs and come and meet with me. The great thing is that all of the ones that I have talked to, they were more than happy to come out and talk to me and share some of their issues, some of their concerns, and some of their awesome ideas that I like to take in as well. Tell us, what is your leadership style, and what has it been that has helped shape that?
Thank you for that question. I want to share two things for you. One, the reason I decided to go into public service, even after friends would tell me, you are the perfect one for this job. And back in 2019, and I said, oh, no, this is not for me.
It's scary.
I was like, oh, no. But the reason that I was saying no is because I didn't come from money, and I didn't understand that wasn't the way to get elected. I didn't have the money. I felt I didn't have the resources. But most importantly, I was like, I'm a community person. I'm advocating for the community, and that's where my heart is, and that's where I belong, and that's where I want to stay as an advocate. And then I went to city council one night to advocate for my community, for people with disabilities and seniors. And I remember the topic, and it was to create a fund for landlords. Well, actually, to create a fund where the city could help out those people with disabilities and seniors have access to additional funding when they had to be relocated from their apartments because of either remodeling or substantial remodel. And so when we did that, I went up and I was advocating, and I was so nervous, and I really wanted them to hear me out. And that's when I realized, wait a minute, I could be more of a champion for the disability community and seniors on the other side of the
That's
dais.
right. Good for you.
And that's when I realized there's an opening.
Right.
That I'm going to do it. But I also said, if I'm running, I'm going all the way. I'm winning this seat. That's what I did. And I had to put a lot of hard work into it. And I continue to put hard work.
Can you speak to the issue of Latinos not feeling like, we have this imposter syndrome sometimes, a lot of people do, but we don't have the money. That's not for us. When it is for us, we're 44% of this population in the city of Long Beach, and we should have more representation. Talk to us a little bit about that.
I would love to go into that, and it is something that I personally struggled with a lot, but I knew that I had to do this for my people.
That's right.
Meaning people with disabilities.
That's right.
And Latinos.
That's right. And women, right?
And women.
Intersectionality.
Yes.
You are covering a lot of territory, Mary.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the hardest challenges that I went through my career as councilwoman was right after redistricting, because no Latina woman had ever represented the downtown area.
The high rises.
The Ocean, Ocean Boulevard, the 1st District, and the 7th District were the only districts that were represented by Latinos. I'm hoping that we can continue that trend, but I was like upset when people would say, you're not going to win in this district because a Latina has never represented.
They won't vote for you.
They won't vote
right. That's
for
what
you.
I remember. That I remember
yes.
people saying they won't vote for her. They won't vote for her.
Yes, and I won in the primary.
Yes, you did.
Yes, and like I like to say, it might have been by a very small margin, but that's what I needed to be able to win, and I am very proud of that win because we worked hard. One of the things, going back to the money, when I ran in 2019, I outraised all of the other candidates, and there were like 10 of us running for then. When I ran again in 2022, I outraised again for out all of the other candidates.
And that's important for people who, criticize money in politics. And it is a little out of control. And there's a lot of things that we need to fix when it comes to that.
Yes.
But But it does require money to reach voters, particularly in your district when you can't get past gates.
Yes.
You have to reach them at the mailbox.
Yes.
And with you, there's a couple of different reasons because of accessibility that you have to find different ways of reaching voters.
Yes, and it takes a lot of work to raise the money. It's $500 max per person. That's a very low, right? But I put in the work, and you can tell that I've put in the work. And, you know, I've outraised all of my opponents right now, combined. So that's important to me, because, like you said, I need to focus on being able to reach my voters. But what it also says, it tells you how many people are supporting me, how many people support what I've been doing, how many people understand that even though representing District 1 is not an easy job, that they know that I put my heart and everything into it, and that I will continue to doing so as I get reelected in June.
I'll say that you are in the district a lot. We see you at a lot of events, and you are very accessible to the residents, and that's important, right? The opportunity to speak to the council member, to our representative, to express our concerns, to share ideas, you said you've been hearing. All of that's important, to have a relationship with our council member. They're just our neighbor who we have said, go speak on our behalf, you know our values, right?
Yes, and if I could touch a little bit more about that too. I like going out and, you know, seeing my residents in different locations throughout the district, and when they see me out, they're like, oh, I had a question, but I don't want to interrupt you during dinner or anything like that. And I'm like, no, that's why I'm here. I want to be interrupted. I want them to know that I'm accessible. Or even, you know, I have residents that'll say, oh, I saw you, I was sitting at the next table next to you, I didn't want to interrupt you. I go, no, next time please do interrupt me, you know. And so I think that's it. Or even walking. Okay, I'm guilty. I pay more attention to the doggies when I'm walking. I'm guilty.
Me too.
I have a lot.
If dogs could vote.
Right, if doggies can vote, yes. I have a lot of residents that love going and taking, of course, their doggies out for walks. And so that's my favorite part, is connecting with all of my residents through their doggies sometimes. You know, and sometimes I'm like, I know the doggy's name, and I'm like, wait, what is your name? And they're my resident.
I do the same thing. I'll remember the you know, pet's name, the baby, the four-legged baby. Sometimes I don't remember the resident's name. That's funny.
Yes,
but we're forgiven, right? Because we're loving on the baby.
Yes, no, but it's such a beautiful district to be in, such a walkable district. I have a wheelchair accessible vehicle, but I don't take it out because there's no need. I mean, I'm walking almost everywhere, and so, and when I'm not walking, you know, I sometimes prefer to use access services, Global Paratransit, because they are, you know, they can drop you off right in front and pick you up right in front. And so we don't have to, you know, try to figure out parking and stuff like that. So I love my district so much. And the best part about our district, and I know you had asked me about our strengths earlier, and I don't know that I quite got to that, but one of our biggest strengths that I feel that we have is our residents. Our residents, our community leaders, and our neighborhood associations. I mean, it is so amazing to be able to work with them and collaborate with them on a lot of things throughout the district. Everybody has different priorities, different things that they want to uplift in their communities and their neighborhoods. Right. And so to have a strong partnership with them means a lot to me. and also to them to be able to know that they have the support from my office and for me directly.
That's wonderful. So we're going to start wrapping this up. I don't know if there was anything that we did not cover that you really wanted to convey that you want Long Beach residents to know about you.
My promise to my residents is to really give them a real visible sense of safety. That's always going to be my priority, is for my residents to feel safe in our downtown, in our neighborhoods, outside of downtown, just in the First District and the city as a whole. That's always going to be my priority. And always know that I welcome ideas and solutions, and I'm always open to exploring them because I don't have all the ideas. But I'm very open and I get very excited when we come together and work together on things like that. One of the things that I did want to talk to that I don't think we touched on was the challenges that our district is facing as a whole.
Yes, let's talk about those challenges.
There's, our district is vibrant, like I said, the First District. We have, wonderful neighborhood associations, and we have, great assets in the First District, like the Queen Mary, and let's not forget about one of our biggest assets, the port.
Yes.
It is now in the First District.
Yes.
We also have the entertainment district, which is all the hotels and the convention center. One of the challenges that we see is public safety, and also people experiencing homelessness. And yes, I do know that this is not unique to the First District, and this is not unique to Long Beach, and this is not unique to even our state, right? Or our region. We know that this is a national problem. The thing is that it is here where I have been working really hard to address this issue. And we've done a lot of work through the years. But one of the things that really people don't recognize is the fact that beforehand, the downtown area was managed by 2 council offices.
Right.
And what does that mean? That means that there were double the hands in the pot to try to get solutions.
Oh, that's right, because you have 2 full staff members, right?
Yes. That will 2 full staff offices to dedicate to downtown Long Beach. After redistricting, I've been solely the one to address these issues.
That's a lot of casework. As somebody who works on those issues, that's a lot of individual casework.
Yes, and I do have to say I am very proud of the office that I have built and the individuals that are on my team. Wonderful. Because we do a lot of hard work and we are very equitable, and at the same time we make sure that everybody is heard and that their issues are addressed. Now, but going back to the fact that this used to be a real challenge before, when 2 districts were overseeing the downtown. Now it's only District 1 overseeing the downtown. So everything has doubled, including my work. And I have put double out there, and I will continue to do that, working overtime, making sure that everyone is being welcomed into the solution part of it.
Right.
I've had many good conversations. I've also had many tough conversations. Right. But at the end of the day, what we've all realized is that we need to work together to address the issues in our downtown. And right now, downtown and the First District, it's coming up.
Yes.
It is being transformed in a way that's going to benefit residents for years to come. And that's what excites me.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Well, now you got me excited.
Yes.
But, that is an interesting point. I hope that, that's something that is re-examined again when we come up on the census and redistricting in 2030 and 2032, because downtown is a treasure and you're holding it down and we appreciate it, but it would be great to get 2 council offices back there to really address the issues. It's so dense. There's a lot of things happening down there, so it makes sense.
Yes.
I am going to wrap this up with some rapid fire questions.
Yes.
And they're just real basic, simple, fun questions. So let's start. If you could use one word to describe the first district, what word would you use?
Vibrant.
Yes. Name a Long Beach small business you love.
El Viejon.
Oh, and tell us about that business.
El Viejon is a new business, Latino-owned business on the promenade. And one of the reasons that I love that place is because they were told that a Latino business would not succeed on the promenade and that they didn't belong on the promenade. And so seeing them bring in customers, be packed every time I pass by there, just gives me a great sense of pride, and to know that it's a family-owned business. But then again, we also have Buen Provecho that is right on the promenade as well, and they also are a family-owned business, and they're doing some incredible job at bringing in customers as well, and just making people feel at home.
Some people don't realize that when we try to step into a leadership position, a Latino tries to step into a leadership position, open up a business in a place where we haven't been, anytime we try to step outside the 1st and 7th, we're not always welcome. And so we're going to hear things like you don't belong, and that still happens, right? So thank you for sharing that, because it's important that we know that we're still not welcomed everywhere, but it is our responsibility to support and uplift each other so that we succeed.
I also want to touch on what's going on right now in the community with the federal administration attacking our residents and our community. It is very hard for our small businesses like El Provecho, like El Viejon, to continue working. And it has been difficult because a lot of people, aren't coming out, because of their fear or haven't.
And you're hearing that. Your office is hearing from residents saying that they will not come out because of the fear.
Yes. And that's one of the reasons that I couldn't have my traditional Dia de los Muertos parade and festival last year, was because my residents didn't feel safe at that time. And I was not going to bring them out to a place that would compromise, especially because the year before we had people that were trying to infiltrate our parade, that were trying to bring it down and our festival, and I didn't want to bring that to our residents.
See, and those are things that happen behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know. I remember working in the council office, the phone calls we get about some of the policy, the hateful words that's as staff members we're fielding this horrible, hateful stuff. So, I'm glad that you're highlighting that there is, even as accepting and diverse as Long Beach is, we have had people try to infiltrate Long Beach and tear down the beauty and the cohesiveness that we're trying to build, right?
Yes, absolutely. But that's where we have to stand strong. And if my residents didn't feel comfortable with that, I had to stand strong and take in all the bad criticism. But in my heart, I knew that I had done the right thing for my residents that were living in fear. It was necessary to partner with our trusted organizations, our trusted messengers, that they have direct connections as well with these families that are going through all of this, and they are able to provide them the resources that the city may have, but they're able to allow them to trust the city on these resources. So yes, it is very important to collaborate with a lot of our organizations that are on the ground, like Centro Cha and Orale, Long Beach Forward, many more that we have. Yes.
They're all doing such great work right now. It's great to see how we're leveraging our resources, because we all have so little, right? So, but if we leverage them and we work together. Yeah, that's smart. Okay, so this is a new format. So the fact that we derailed from the rapid fire questions, that's just the way it's going to be. So we're going to jump back in.
Yes.
And let's talk about a community event you never miss. And that could be anywhere in the city. Doesn't have to be the first district, but if you'd like to highlight it, you're more than welcome.
Community event that I never miss. Tamales on Toledo. I love that. You know why I love that?
Why?
I love it because it's not an event that's put on by our Latino community. It's an event that's put on by our neighborhoods, in the Craftsman Village.
I was going to say, I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
I love that.
And it's in December, and they have piñatas, and the kids come out, and there's all kinds of vendors that come out
for the neighborhood, by the neighborhood. Oh, I love it.
And it is so great, and I love that. And there's times when I haven't been able to make it, but I always say, okay, at least my staff, can you guys go? But it's so important but we always participate in helping them out, and it's so beautiful to see other neighbors that are not Latino putting on events that highlight the Latino community. So thank you to Craftsman's Village Neighborhood Association for always doing that.
That is awesome. Well, look, I am a true believer that allyship moves progress, right?
Yes,
that
absolutely.
moves us forward. And so I love the allies that uplift their neighbors.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And it may be a small event compared to all the other major events, but I think that's exactly what I like about it, because it's intimate, it's with the residents, and it's in this beautiful, beautiful Toledo with all of the beautiful houses that are there. So it really highlights our neighborhood and brings all the kids out, and it just warms my heart every time.
Sounds great. I love that. So where's your favorite place in Long Beach to unwind?
To unwind.
Because you do have to find time. At least I hope you're finding time to unwind.
I really love the work that I do. So when I'm out in the community, that's where I feel the most that I'm relaxed, that I'm unwind, just talking to the residents and stuff. And so I like to make sure that I support our businesses in downtown. And so I think that I match that with unwinding and supporting our small businesses.
I love it. I love it. You're a multitasker through and through, even when you're unwinding. And we'll end with, what's the one thing that gives you hope about our city?
The people. That's where it all comes back to, the people in our city. We have some amazing people in the city with really, really big hearts and who truly love Long Beach the way I do. And I think that commonality is what's going to keep pushing us forward and keep elevating our city together.
I love that. I appreciate the time and the conversation, and I hope that people really got a sense of who you are outside of your role as a council member, because I think that that's really important, right? We're choosing a person, one of our neighbors, to represent us, because we can't all be there. We need one person. And so we appreciate you stepping up. And you are our endorsed candidate, and the Long Beach Latino Democratic Club is going to do everything we can to help support your victory, get you across that finish line in June. We really encourage people to get to know your neighbors, get to know who represents you, know what districts you live in. Your voice matters, your vote matters. Now use it. Thank you so much.